Hey guys, Coach Liz here. All right. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about after transition, that optimization phase. Now, we don't like to use the word maintenance because we never just want to stay the same. We always want to keep moving forward and progressing in our health. So this is a topic that I could talk a long time about. I'll try to keep it semi-short for you, but I wanted to give just some of my top tips on moving from the transition phase into optimization, into incorporating all the food groups and really using those things that you learned during your weight loss phase to continue to live that healthy lifestyle. All right, one thing I want to address is in the Life Book in Element 16, Dr. Anderson talks about dealing with addictive foods. Now, a lot of us do have those trigger foods that we feel like we might be addicted to. And there's a quiz in Element 16 that you can see for yourself if this might be a problem for you, if there might be some foods that you have an addictive nature to. For me, I know it's sugar. And so it's good to be aware of that. Now, with dealing with addictive foods, I think number one, it's good to recognize that that's a trigger for you. Now, one thing that I want to share with you is a trigger for me is Nutella. I don't buy Nutella when I'm at home. I don't keep it around because I know for me, I would just eat spoonfuls of Nutella and I crave it. And we live in an obesogenic society where our society is not helpful for you in keeping up with your healthy habits. There's fast food, junk food all around us in our culture. Unhealthy choices is the norm. So you really have to be proactive and mindful to be able to make those healthy choices to have that long-term healthy lifestyle. Let's get back to the Nutella. Now, my kids, I have 6 kids. They love Nutella also. They don't have the problem of eating spoonfuls of Nutella. So I made a deal with them. The only time I buy Nutella is when I go out of town. So I was gone last week at our National Health Convention, and it's kind of the thing they look forward to when I leave is I buy Nutella. They have it on their toast, peanut butter and Nutella. That's just their time. They get to eat their Nutella. And I encourage them to try to have it gone before I get home. There's 6 of them, they really enjoy the Nutella during the week. This one is there's still quite a bit left. So it's not gone yet. So I have to decide if I'm going to even take that first bite. And one thing that we did learn at our national convention, one quote that I loved is, avoidance is much easier than moderation. And that's so true when it comes to addictive food. Just avoiding sticking the first spoon in the Nutella is much easier for me than once I've had one to try to moderate how much I eat. So you know what my plan is? I'm not even going to have a spoonful of Nutella. The longer I practice that, the easier it is. Before I could not have it in the house and not take a spoonful. Now I'm getting a lot more mindful and it's easier for me to just not even start with the Nutella. So there might be foods like that for you. It might be breads, white sugar, and those are the things that are lighting up our brain, those receptors in our brain, the white sugar and flour. So really be mindful of that. It might be white bread or sugar or candy or baked goods. So find those things that you know is a trigger for you and just know that avoiding it is much better than trying to moderate it. It doesn't mean that you'll never have it. I'll probably have Nutella sometime in my life, but it's not something that I choose to have around all the time. So if you are addicted to bread, then it might be wise to not keep white bread in your house. That it doesn't mean that you will never have a roll at a restaurant or a dinner, but just really being mindful of having your space a safe place, that you're not having to white knuckle through it. I think that's really helpful as you transition. Now, during the weight loss phase, especially if you were on the 5-in-1 and you were in fat burn, you probably noticed that you weren't craving these things. You weren't starving. You weren't hungry all the time. It's because fat burn is getting your blood sugar balanced and eating the right foods. It actually helps your stomach produce more of the GLP-1 peptides, the hormone, so that you're not hungry, you're not craving. That's actually the same hormone that the weight loss drug that people are getting injected now. That's what it does. It releases more of that so you're not hungry or craving. But you can actually do things that keep those hunger and craving, keep that hormone higher so that you're not having the hunger and craving. And the secret to doing that is keeping your blood sugar balanced. Now, I know you hear me talk a lot about that, but that is the trick going into this next phase is, yes, incorporating the high five, the sleep is so important. Exercise, getting your body moving. Exercise is really important in that next phase. Hydration, sleep, mindfulness, those and nutrition, those are all so important. But one thing, like, just to really be mindful of is, how can I keep my blood sugar balanced for this 3-hour period? Every time you eat, if that can be your focus, that's going to help this maintenance phase, this optimization phase, much more simple. Now, like I mentioned, I was just out of town for the last week, and I noticed that even when I travel, I still eat the same way. I'm still asking myself, we'd go to lunch in between meetings, and there were places that like had big food courts and we could choose where we wanted to eat. My number one thought is, how can I keep my blood sugar balanced? A pretzel or a sandwich, that would probably spike my blood sugar more than a chicken salad. And so having that thought, how can I keep my blood sugar balanced so I'm not hungry and craving, looking for protein, like prioritizing protein every time you eat really helps with that. And so that makes the mindset much more simple. It doesn't mean that I never enjoy sweets, even though that's kind of my trigger. But I think, how can I keep this balanced? So the one time I did have a sweet while I was away, we're at the airport, we had a long layover, and I chose to have a Chick-fil-A ice cream cone. And I knew that would spike my blood sugar. So I chose to get just 12-piece grilled chicken. That's what I ate, grilled chicken and ice cream. That was balancing my blood sugar. I could have had a big chicken salad, but I wasn't hungry enough to have a big salad. I'd already had one earlier for lunch. So I just had 12 pieces of grilled chicken nuggets, and I had my ice cream cone. And that kept me balanced. Although I didn't feel great after I ate the ice cream cone, like recognizing how your body feels when you eat sugar is also important. But knowing that you can enjoy things once you reach that next phase, by learning how to keep that blood sugar more balanced. So after I ate that, I felt totally satisfied. I wasn't craving, I wasn't hungry. Whereas if I just ate the ice cream cone, I would have been more hungry, more craving. And that is how our brains work and how society is. There is unhealthy choices all around us. It's the easiest thing to choose, unhealthy choices. But if we're really mindful to balance our blood sugar and keep up with our 5 habits, that's going to help you maintain that weight loss, and especially incorporating activity, because it does something to your brain when you take time for yourself to exercise in some way during the day. So we actually had a challenge as coaches, is to get more active over the next 30 days, build that habit. And I want to extend that to you, is think of something that you enjoy doing and just try to be a little bit more active, because as you move into that next phase, the optimization phase, activity is key for that long-term weight loss and healthy lifestyle. So check out element 16 in your life book about dealing with addictive foods. And just remember, abstinence is easier than moderation. And you think of any type of addiction, alcohol addiction, they choose to avoid it, to not keep it in your house. It's much easier to avoid it than moderate it. So if there's a food that you can see that you're addicted to that is harder for you to portion control and eat in moderation, that might be something that you want to just decide that you won't have in your life, that it's not helping you move forward, that it's not worth it to lose control over a food. So I know that sometimes is hard, having a funeral for that habit, but sometimes we replace a habit that wasn't serving us for something that will help us move forward and bring us more joy in our lives. So those are my quick little tips on that next phase, the optimization phase, and especially dealing with addictive food, not even keeping it around, cleaning it out from your house as often as you can, and just knowing that setting yourself up for success makes it so much easier. The less choices you have to make, the more good choices you will make. So, all right, have a great week. Talk to you later.